Hey, I recently did a video response responding to Weightlifting Whispers comments about an article that was not favourable to ASMR. And when I did the article, I edited and I was really afraid about loading it, really afraid. And since then, I'm still afraid of it sometimes. I was absolutely amazed with the intelligence of most of the comments placed below the video. And what I noticed was that the video became an interaction of like-minded souls. So rather than being something I said, it became a response I had to Weightlifting Whisper, which would carried and supported and embraced and lengthened and adjusted by the viewers, which I thought was a really fluid, living interaction. It's fascinating. When I started with ASMR, when was it? A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think, I was so amazed by Ilsa and Maria and Jennifer of Appreciate ASMR. And I was so excited when they wrote to me or acknowledged me in some way. I was just so blessed, felt so blessed to be part of the community, as I still feel probably more blessed now as I grow to know the community. I was impressed not only by how the community includes you, but how the community supports, encourages, accepts, and expresses compassion. And I just found this fascinating. And I was very fragile at the time. As a child, I really lacked confidence. I was a very unusual child. I had learning issues. I was someone that could read a book and remember the whole book and read the book in an hour. Yet I struggled to socialise. And I did not understand why other people could socialise so easily. And I did not understand, I remember as a child not understanding why kids, I remember when I was 5, I wondered why children needed to learn to read, because I just picked it up. And I remember being confused about that. And I remember hiding how I could read very quickly. But I struggled to socialise. I didn't know what to say to other kids. I couldn't play ball games, and I had very low confidence. And probably it's only the last 3 years that I'm starting to gain confidence as an adult. And a lot of that would be to do with my involvement in ASMR. It's kind of like a crash course in wisdom and growing. I'm certainly not saying I'm wise, but the ASMR community kind of inspired me to think. And the fluid, organic process of the development of ASMR is very special and very precious. I was having a talk with Ilsa and Chris of Whispering Waver, and Chris and Ilsa believe that the growth or development of ASMR should be an organic, non-institutional process and should develop along its own lines, with its own timelines, unfettered, so that it is not controlled or structured by any one person or philosophy. And I thought about this, and I thought this is really intelligent. I really agree with this. That the growth of ASMR should be a fluid self-development. And one of the things that's really special about that is that each person in the ASMR world feels fairly free to do their own thing, present their own ASMR, their own ideas of ASMR, and their own type of ASMR. So it's an expression that we each have that is special to ourselves. And the viewer has the privilege of perceiving what they want from ASMR, and that is beautiful too. So that is what makes ASMR so special. It's individual, it's non-institutional, it's organic, and it's inclusive. It's very welcoming. And I feel so incredibly privileged to be part of that. So privileged that I, at times, walk very carefully because I have fairly strong opinions. And I do not want to raise them because I want to be, I guess, an anonymous part of the whole movement. I've always been a follower, an ideas person and a follower. But recently I've wondered about the boundaries of having a holistic approach to a set of beliefs. And ASMR is a set of beliefs. The beliefs are compassion, inclusion, community, self-expression, non-harm, safety, security, comfort, safe interaction, and healing. They're the values of ASMR. The value is also to let each person be, not to criticize. So that's just all so amazing, so wonderful. The problem we have here, and there's no problems, but the limitation is because we all are so embracing. It's like we have this beautiful, beautiful castle, and it's a lovely castle, majestic castle, with walls around it and a beautiful moat around it, and it's very beautiful. And we wonder whether we should protect this castle. And we think, well, no one has the right to protect the castle because the castle belongs to everyone. So no one should protect this castle. We should just live in it with equality. Now, if everyone respects everyone and everyone is equal and everyone says, let's not protect the castle, let's just be equal. Because to ask someone to protect the castle, that's a special role. And we just want to be equal and love each other. It's a little bit, possibly, I'm being controversial here, Christians with the lions type approach. If we don't have someone to stand at the gateway of the castle, not to exclude anyone, just at the perimeter of the community, I'm still making it sound like it's structured. It's not structured. I think there is possibly a requirement in ASMR to assert the beliefs of ASMR and assert them with a possible level of clarity while still allowing for the organic development of ASMR. For example, we have articles from the Young Turks, or that video. We have the recent article, and the articles are, all respect to the journalists, they are simplistic, narrow-minded, non-researched, lacking experience, lacking perception, not having any empathy or knowing the world of ASMR, and basically 100% not having experienced ASMR. And these institutions or people or areas criticize ASMR. Now, you can respond and say everyone has a right to do whatever they want. Yeah, that's right. As long as everyone's safe, everyone has a right to say what they feel. But perhaps it's come a time that we look at the values of ASMR and we passively assert, as in a non-aggressive way, the values of ASMR. No one can say what the values are, but we can all contribute to that process and we can discuss. And one of the good things about videos is you can interact below and say what you think. So instead of reacting to these articles, because ASMR is going to grow very quickly, that we have some quiet comfort in self-knowledge of what ASMR actually is and the benefits of ASMR, rather than the current reaction. Now, I would just want to read one of the issues with ASMR is the fear factor from people that don't know ASMR. It's almost like a type of racism. Someone is racist when they don't understand a particular race. They feel threatened by that race. So they pick out little things that they can criticize, like the color of the race or certain cultural beliefs. Racism is about ignorance. Racism is about lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, narrow-mindedness, being superficial and not taking the time to sit in another's shoes. So with ASMR, such words are used such as creepy, pornographic and erotic at times. So these words are quickly grabbed. They're generic, they're labels, they're unkind, they're harassment, they're bullying, and they indicate fear. They indicate a lack of understanding. And they also point back to the people and say something about the people that need to use such derogatory terms. There's nothing positive in these terms at all. And you've got to question when someone needs to use a negative term about a culture, and yes, ASMR is a subculture. Most definitely it's a subculture. That there are groups or journalists that need to harass, bully, and name call something they don't understand. I think there is a legitimate role for us to assert the benefits of ASMR very clearly and definitively. Okay, now I would like to put forward, you may disagree with me, I would like to put forward that ASMR is therapeutic. That means it's healing. And therapeutic can be healing according to the individual's needs. So it doesn't heal generically, it heals individually. So I suggest that ASMR is therapeutic. It's a therapy. It's a holistic therapy. I'm saying this, of course, as opinion, but the Young Turks had their opinions, so this is mine. ASMR is therapeutic. ASMR is likely to invoke pleasure in the viewer. The pleasure is derivated or delineated by the needs of the viewer. So the pleasure can have a variety of different foundations, and providing they're all safe, I think that's okay. If a person is lonely, then ASMR may alleviate their loneliness. If a person is in pain, it may reduce their pain. It may. If a person is feeling panic, it may help them with their panic or their stress or their anxiety or getting over a breakup or feeling they're part of a group. So it satisfies the needs of that individual, or it may do. So it's pleasurable, and it pleasures the senses. Now the senses are, we've got 6 senses, so it can pleasure the different senses. Often this relates back to childhood. So our definition of pleasure reverts back to early childhood development a majority of the time. Even as adults, our impetus, or what gives us pleasure, goes back to childhood memories of our mother, learning, experiences in the family, etc. And also our maladjustments go back to early development. So our pleasure, what we like, the aromas, the sights, the sounds, go back to our relationships with our caregivers. And ASMR appears for some to trigger that. Now, whispering. A lot of ASMR involves whispering. Let's have a look at that. A lot of people feel threatened by whispering. Let's have a cold look at whispering. My mother whispered to me. My father whispered to me. Whispering is a gentle approach that we can have. When we see a child is in fear, We get down to the child's level and we whisper to that child. We whisper to our children as they fall asleep. We whisper when we're intimate. We whisper to ones we love. We whisper if we want to calm someone down. We whisper to our animals to calm them down. Whispering has a variety of different purposes and cannot be labelled as having one purpose. Whispering can be incredibly comforting. Whispering can be calming. We know when someone produces adrenaline and they're stressed, to whisper to that person in a slow voice can be very, very calming. Yes, it can also be intimate. I wonder whether in our society we have lost in some areas the gift of intimacy. And now when we see examples of intimacy, we're almost threatened by it. One of the things about ASMR is it encourages a level of intimacy with the viewer, the alleviation of loneliness. So intimacy is not a dirty or scary word, or it shouldn't be. Has intimacy become a scary word? Is this what ASMR is confronting? I think with ASMR too, that now that we have this prolific use of the internet and technology and mobile phones, etc., we have become detached or less able to have one-on-one individual contact. And one of the things that ASMR does through YouTube is gives a forum where someone who is alone can be less alone and can be included, and that is just priceless. I feel that with ASMR, that I feel it's important to establish some sort of, I'll use the word brand, but that's not quite the word I'm thinking of, platform, because there's so many people that can benefit from ASMR. People recovering from injury, people recovering from trauma, people recovering from grief can really benefit from ASMR. So I feel that we have some sort of duty to stand up and assert what ASMR is about. And I understand that if we respond to these articles, that it grows, you know, the sensationalism grows. And there's a problem with that. You don't really want sensationalism to grow. You want learning and development to grow. But I think it's come a time where we stand up and say ASMR is therapeutic. ASMR is about individual perception. ASMR is about safety. ASMR is about holistic healing. ASMR is about quiet, soft, calm, active listening. ASMR is about humour that suits the needs of the viewer. ASMR is about communal acceptance, inclusion, and safety. Safety is really paramount there. ASMR is really about safety. You know, no one being threatened. And I think that it's important that we're clear with the media that ASMR is therapeutic. And ASMR is about sensual pleasure, which is safe and is in accordance with the viewer's needs. This is such a beautiful thing, ASMR, and it has so much potential to heal children, heal dysfunctional families, heal dysfunctional relationships, reduce anxiety and loneliness. And when people call it creepy, erotic, use the word fetish, it's fear-mongering and it's discriminating and it's a form of racism, because ASMR is a culture. And I think that we need to revisit what intimacy is. I think intimacy is really important, safe intimacy, and I don't think we should shy away from that. And ASMR reintroduces a holistic, healthy view of intimacy, which society is not in some ways ready for. We've almost handicapped ourselves of the ability to feel intimacy. Hugging in public is not as acceptable. Breastfeeding is not acceptable in public. we have so many rules and guidelines about behaviour that some of these rules and guidelines are no longer helpful. And ASMR can give that back to the community. So what I'm saying is that as a community, I really agree with Whispering Weaver, with Chris, what he said about it being an organic, fluid process, non-institutional. But just because it's non-institutional doesn't mean it doesn't have to have values. And the values are therapeutic, helping, healing, individual, active listening, sympathetic, empathetic, caring, fun, humour, fantasy that takes us away from the fears of life and give us a space in which to escape and relax so that we can go back into society as more contributing individuals. So what do you think about what I've said? I feel so incredibly privileged to be part of this community, and I fear speaking out about my opinion because I just so want to please everyone in this community. But I feel that we need to assert our values. I feel that we have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful concept here that the rest of the world could benefit from. And I feel we need to stand up when someone criticises unfairly, inappropriately. Stand up very clearly and say, ASMR is therapeutic. Whispering is about healing. ASMR is about active listening. ASMR is about the production of oxytocin, about safety, security, community. If you want to see it as something else, that's your responsibility. It has nothing to do with ASMR. There's my thoughts. What do you think? Thank you.